Yeah, this is a message for people living with tinnitus in the household. So maybe your partner's got tinnitus or somebody in the family's got tinnitus, and it's distressing for everybody. And the first thing to say, which is very obvious, is that you don't know what tinnitus is like, and it doesn't look like anything distressing is going on. But unless you've been through it yourself, you don't really know the intense struggle and suffering that tinnitus can give you. And people in that state of bad tinnitus will constantly be saying, "Oh my God, I'm experiencing this," and they'll be completely overwhelmed. And so the first thing to do is to take the pressure off and offer support. So maybe if there's a super mum or super dad involved who are used to holding fort and doing everything for the family, if they're going through tinnitus and having a real horrible time with it, now's the time to offer to take the pressure off and to create a bit more slack so that you can maybe delegate things in the family so that this frees up a bit more space. Because people with tinnitus are often overwhelmed or depressed, or they've been going far too dynamically for too long, and then the system just goes into overwhelm. They become super sensitive. So offering support, hearing them, it's really important to say, "How are you?" and to actually give some space to hearing them, actually listening to them. If that's hard, then it's very good for them to get therapists, hands-on therapist or therapy work, so that their process can be heard. A lot of people with tinnitus have been exposed to a lot of things over the years. They've heard many things coming in emotionally, especially, but there's not much space for them and their feelings. This is a general pattern. So it's very good to say, "How are you?" and to really mean that question, to give some space to hear the answer. But it's really helpful to move into calming, soothing activities that can help distract the mind away from tinnitus and help settle the nervous system. So I think if the whole family can understand that tinnitus is primarily a stress response, the ultra sensitive ears are listening out for danger because the system has become overwhelmed or oversensitive for a million and one different reasons. So it's very helpful for everybody involved to go into self-soothing, calming, and helping digest and process mode. It's really not going to be helpful to go into this very reactive state where everybody's bouncing off each other. So good to have a meeting and say, "Look, how are we going to manage this? What do we all need? You do more of that. I can only do so much of this. How can we hold the fort together?" So pulling together as a team. And people with tinnitus will need much more downtime than normal, and they will need to get help, therapy, cranial sacral therapy. They need to find things that calm and settle and soothe the nervous system down. This is essential for getting better. So it might be gardening, it might be cranial sacral therapy, it might be reflexology, it might be shiatsu. It's very, very important to get the tinnitus person to see somebody on a regular basis who can really help their systems settle and for their fearful thinking to calm down. And the more they feel a sense of well-being, naturally, the catastrophizing mind will start to cool down and the alarm bells will start to ring less and less and start getting much more ignorable as they start and then quieten down. But we all need to have a sense of safety. We all need to have a sense of manageability. And in family setups or relationship setups, it's incredibly important to just step back and talk about how you can all manage together and better support each other. This is not the time for pointing the finger or blaming or getting cross or angry. It's not easy for anybody when somebody's going through a crisis like bad tinnitus. So it's very helpful to cooperate, to listen to each other, and to plan strategies that can work as a group of people. The tinnitus will get better when the pressure's taken off the shoulders, when there's a sense of greater bodily comfort, and when the mind can stop fearing. So, as a help towards tinnitus people, do encourage somebody not to go on to the internet. It really is not helpful to read horror stories about tinnitus or to obsess about lots of different things connected with tinnitus. You've got to get the mind off tinnitus, take the attention away from the hearing and into calming, soothing, relaxing, comfortable, safe experiences. So family can be very important with this. So doing the things that you love to do and really enjoying that, and maybe just taking the pressure off the tinnitus person and supporting him or her. And I think if it is a very difficult and extreme situation, the person living with a tinnitus person may need to get help and support for themselves. So going and finding a therapist, having your own private, confidential, safe space where you can process, offload, and come to terms with how you're reacting to it, this can be incredibly helpful too. So talking therapies are very good for this. Any body-based practice like yoga and Tai Chi are brilliant distractors and calmants that help soothe and settle. So I think the crucial thing is to give space, offer support, negotiate how you can all find a resolution, which is invariably feeling calmer, more relaxed, more comfortable, safer, more on top of things. And this will come with taking appropriate action to settle your system and get more space.